All right, welcome back to the third episode of Balls Deep here. I am your host, Alex Chick. With me today, first time on the show, Garrett, aka Waluigi, aka Motorcycle Man, aka Jimmy Neutron's dad. How are you doing today, Garrett?
The ever growing list of nicknames never ceases to amaze me. I'm doing good, man. I'm getting Chicks Tape vibes right now.
Bro,
Throwing it back to the old days when it was
hey,
just you and me, man.
but between me and you, Garrett, it might be coming back. I think it's coming back. I think it's coming back.
The people just gotta wait for
I,
it.
I think it's in the works. It's in the works. Shh, shh, shh. And of course, the one that's making it all happen in the booth is going to be Courtney Plummer. She does all the tech stuff that I cannot do because I am incapable and I'm a degenerate. So,
That's true.
shut up. First things first, let's start off with some news. I didn't really see a lot news wise. Maybe if you have some news, you could come up with something. But the only one I really saw, and everyone keeps talking about it, and I know you'll probably get a kick out of this, but Tom Brady, he went on what is that show called? Whatever. I don't know. He was talking, right?
The one you did with LeBron.
I think so, yeah. And then he's talking about his free agency decision, and he goes, "You sticking with that, motherfucker?" I mean, like, it's the shop. It's the shop. Corny helping out, coming in clutch is the shop. But he's like, "You sticking with that, motherfucker?" Thinking about the quarterback. Garrett, I got to hear your thoughts. Like, I know there's plenty of teams that were interested in him, but which team do you really think it was?
I mean, I know you don't want to hear this. I know you don't, but like, I don't know, dude. Vegas was super interested in Brady, and I don't know. You mean to tell me you're gonna stick with Derek Carr over a chance to get Tom Brady on your team? I don't know. I know how you feel about Tom Brady though, so you may have a mixed emotion on that. But I could also see a team like Chicago potentially sticking with someone like Trubisky over picking up someone like Brady as well.
Well, and he said it wasn't the Bears, so that's why I'm like, great. That just lowers the list of names. I could see Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers as well. I mean, they've had history in the Patriots.
Yeah, there's
and
already a little backstory there.
And Bill Belichick wanted Jimmy G to start, and Robert Kraft was like, so Daddy Kraft came in, and he was like, Tom Brady's going to start. So I don't know. There's a bunch of teams. I could the fact that he hasn't dismissed the Raiders just kind of, and I thought he was washed coming into the season. I thought he was he's done
a ring though.
But he does. He's got what, 6 now?
Well, I'm talking about with Tampa this year. We all thought he was basically washed coming into the year, and then he won a ring. So,
but Mike Evans, Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, Gronk,
I don't know, man's won a ring.
He did. Plus a really good defense. I mean, it was a good team. He just needed a quarterback. Jameis Winston just wasn't quite getting it done. Shocker.
I mean, I was gonna say that's not really a surprise to nobody though. So,
other than that, I really don't have any news. I would just want to hear your thoughts on it, and probably hear that you were going to say the Raiders. And I just wanted to know if you weren't going to say the Raiders.
You just wanted to make sure that you heard me say it because you knew it was coming.
Yeah, I just wanted. It was like a preemptive strike. I just wanted to make sure it happened.
Just go ahead and get it out of the way.
Did you have any news? Because I didn't really see anything worth talking about. I mean, just a little. Okay, cool.
I got nothing.
So for this episode, third episode, we're going to go into rookie wide receivers. I got quite a bit of a list. We're probably not going to hit all of them. I just wanted to be prepared and know everyone that was going on. I guess we could go by draft order. That kind of makes sense, kind of not. And if I feel like they're boring, then I'll just skip them. So, half of them are boring. So, first things first. Let's go over Jamar Chase. Before I hear your thoughts, I just want to say I think the Bengals are stupid for not taking an offensive lineman. I can understand the need for wide receiver, but if your quarterback was healthy the full year, I'm like, okay, yeah, take a wide receiver. Your quarterback just had a season-ending injury. Like, you take a lineman here. You're like, hey, and at the same time, this screams Joe Burrow. Like, say, hey, I want my guy from Jamar Chase. I don't care that I just snapped my leg or something. You know what I mean?
And to his credit, you see the production that they had at LSU. Like, Jamar Chase had 84 catches for 20 fucking touchdowns, almost had 1,800 yards his last season with Joe Burrow. So, it makes sense. There's obviously built-in connection there as well. So, I can see it. But Joe Burrow just like blew out his knee because he had no offensive line in Cincinnati, right? Like,
well, that connection will be great as long as he's healthy.
Yeah, as long as he can stand upright for more than 3 seconds.
Just be like, hopefully, like, I mean, and not to say they didn't do anything, but
yeah, that's what I was about to say as well. The Bengals definitely made some improvements to their offensive line, but if you could have landed a guy like Penei Sewell at that position where they could have and shored up one of the tackle positions, you could have found a wide receiver in the second round. Yeah, or you could have found someone in free agency. Or they could have traded for fucking Julio Jones. We didn't know he was on the table at the time, basically.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this wide receiver class was so deep, as we're about to like go over. Like this is a deep class. Like there was going to be talent. Like there was no doubt there was going to be talent.
Like I get Jamar Chase going like that high in the top 5, but like, I just don't. That's not the best fit for me, I guess. But
I guess
he's still going to ball out though.
They got GM, head coach, owner. They got Joe Burrow in the room. They're like, okay, do you want your legs or do you want your guy Jamar Chase? And he was like, bro. Fuck my legs. Give me Jamar Chase. Give me Jamar Chase.
I want my guy.
I mean, I do think Jamar Chase, though, has a really good chance to succeed fantasy-wise. I mean, I don't mind Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins. T. Higgins, they chose last year. They picked him last year. I really don't mind these guys. I think these guys can get a lot of points, but I do think Jamar Chase is probably better than both of them coming out of college, like day one.
Yes, like but at least by the end of the year, he should be wide receiver 1 for sure, I think. And then, like you said, he should produce fantasy wise. Like he is somebody you should definitely consider taking towards the top end of your, second wide receiver. If you're playing like a 2 wide receiver league or anything like that, you should definitely consider taking him if he's still on the board in the mid rounds or so.
Oh yeah, I mean, like, and I feel like, and. Just if you pick probably one of the top like 4 wide receivers in this draft, they would be better than what they have right now. But they also have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase connection. I feel like they're gonna use that right away. I mean, it'll be just like riding a bike. So
yeah, they're no kidding. As soon as they get into OTA or training camp or anything like that, they should have no problem at all picking up with their chemistry where they left off.
Yeah, so Jamar Chase is gonna be really good. I mean, and like I said, as long as Joe Burrow or any other quarterback stays healthy, who knows? I don't know anything.
Keep Joe Burrow upright is the thing.
I don't know anything. The Raiders got rid of, what was it, like 60%? It seems like it's going towards 80, 100% of the line nowadays, but, what do I know?
I can't really give you shit because the Steelers are turning over 4 of their 5.
Sky can, though. So. Sky can. I
don't know, dude. That, yeah, let's not.
I was like, what? Like, what are we even talking about? Anyway, before we turn this into a Raiders podcast, let's go ahead and go to Miami. Miami chose Jalen Waddle. So I think you coming out of the draft had Jalen Waddle higher than the other Alabama wide receiver we'll talk about later. But you had Jalen Waddle as your second best wide receiver, if I remember.
Correct.
So yeah, how are you feeling about him and in Miami now?
I don't know. It made me laugh when he got drafted to Miami because Jalen Waddle in a draft interview said that he preferred Mac Jones over Tua, and he's going to Miami to play with Tua now. That's gotta be like, you can imagine your first day walking into the locker room and you're just like, Tua,
my guy. Hey.
I like the fit. If he was hampered by an ankle injury all year and he tried playing in the playoff and the stuff like that, but he couldn't go, basically. You saw it, like, he got, like, a catch in one of the playoff games, and he, like, came off immediately. Like, that ankle wasn't 100%. So that kind of almost hurt his draft stock a little bit, which is, like, crazy to say because he was still a first-round wide receiver. But if he was healthy the entire year and put up the amount of, like, receptions and touchdowns he could have put up in that offense, we could have been having a conversation for him being the first wide receiver taken off the board, potentially. As far as, like, fit goes, I think Miami needed a guy who could take the top off of a defense. They had, they signed Will Fuller, Devontae Parker's there. They have nice tight ends as well. So, like, the offense should be better. It kind of all depends on Tua. But I kind of see Jalen Waddle fitting more of the Henry Ruggs role in Vegas, where he's just kind of, you put him on one of the sides and let him go deep to pull like a safety, and that frees up your slot guys. It frees up your number 2 wide receivers. Like, and I know you got on to me all season about this because I gave you shit about Henry Ruggs and his stats. And you were like, he's on there as like a tactic. He's to deploy the defense like da 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 da. Like, all right, I get it. Whatever. Jalen Waddle's gonna fit that same role in Miami as Ruggs did in Vegas.
I always have to defend the front office, I guess. So like I
have to. You can never think anything that the front office does except for the Alex Leatherwood pick.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, like, there's a couple things I don't like, but I'm like, as a Raiders fan, there's so much negativity. You have to think of the positivity. Like you have to like try to.
You just gotta hang on to it, dude. You gotta find the little glimmers of hope and just hang on to it.
Just gotta hold on to it and squeeze it, and then cry when it's gone. You know what I mean? I'm actually I like the fit as well. I think honestly, Jalen Waddle has a chance to be, wide receiver 1. I was real big on Devontae Parker last year, and it just never happened. I was just like, okay, that was his time to shine, and he just didn't do it. Preston Williams is okay, and you mentioned Fuller. Fuller is actually a nice addition. I think they have a pretty stacked wide receiver core so their offense will be better. The only question is, and I wouldn't say it's a question for me. I'm a big Tua believer, but there's people right now that are not big Tua believers, and I get it. He hasn't really performed, but guy's coming off of hip surgery. Are you a Tua believer? Are you like?
I think you can't say he's a bust yet, but you also it. I don't know. Coming into the off season, I was just like, well, gotta give him a little time, and then he had a training camp day or an OTA day where he threw 5 interceptions. They came around the next day and threw 2 2-minute drives back to back and score touchdowns. So you can't really put a whole lot of stock in this early OTA kind of stuff. I am still a Tua believer, but he's got an offense now. His defense is very good. Got a good head coach. As silly as it sounds to say a second-year quarterback has to perform this year, he's got to perform this year.
Yeah, I mean, did Miami make the playoffs last year? No, they were close.
They were close. I don't think they made it.
I think they'll make it this year. I shout out to Brian Flores. That guy's a hell of a head coach.
They definitely won the division, but they should definitely be a wild card team.
Oh no, Bills will win the division easily. But
100%.
Yeah, but the couple of years ago when the Miami was a horrible team and and then they bought into whatever Brian Flores was cooking, man, and then it was it. So
on his Kool-Aid, man. The next thing you know, they got a good team in Miami this year.
That is a great team, and they really bought in. You could tell. So let's talk the next one, and this is the next Alabama wide receiver. It's Devontae Smith. How you were a little bit lower on Devontae Smith. Was there any kind of reason for that? I mean, are you still high on him, or just kind of lower on him, or what do you think?
One, I think he's going to a bad system. I don't necessarily believe in Jalen Hurts. He's just unproven. He didn't really show a ton.
He can run He can run.
Listen. Don't even get me started on running quarterbaks.
We'll get to running quarterbacks. Don't worry. We're gonna get to a running quarterback. We're gonna get there.
I wasn't low. I didn't hate Devontae Smith. I just thought that he was a little undersized. But that was everybody's biggest knock on it. He was, about as heavy as I am, basically, and I'm thin as a piece of paper, basically. Mm-hmm. So there's concerns at the next level he's going to get bullied around a little bit. But to his credit, he's got fantastic footwork and great hands. So, if he can make separation, it all depends on Jalen Hurts at that point. If he can get on the ball, shit, he might not be so bad. But it just on paper it doesn't look like this fit.
I mean, to me, Devontae Smith, he's a wide receiver 1 right now walking into the Eagles. I mean, you got Travis Fulgham, and you got Greg Ward and Jalen Reagor.
Any wide receiver the Eagles would have drafted in the first 2 rounds would have been wide receiver 1 this year. They could have drafted anybody. They could have drafted.
You're not a big Travis Fulgham guy. Travis Fulgham, that's the future right there. That's the guy.
Let's get out of here.
No, but that's really the real question in Philly is Jalen Hurts if he can get him the ball. If he can't get him the ball, then what are we doing here? The guy can run, which is great, but as we're figuring out with other running quarterbacks, that can be stopped, and
it only gets you so far.
Yeah, it's a short-term fix. It's a short-term solution.
It's not Band-Aid.
Yeah. So Devontae Smith, hopefully they get a quarterback. To me, they should have never got rid of Carson Wentz. However, I feel like that relationship was done. The relationship was there. Confidence was broken. It's good for Carson Wentz, bad for Philly, but it would have been bad for Philly anyway. I don't feel like Carson Wentz would have, performed any better with Philly anymore.
And now he's going to go ball out in Indianapolis.
That team's winning the division too. So,
true.
Next one, Giants here. They got, you know how good I am at names. You know how good Kadarius Toney.
That's not bad.
Okay.
Not bad.
Okay, cool. There's a couple other names that I'm like, okay, good. I'm gonna fuck that name up. Kadarius Toney. First, I gotta talk about Daniel Jones. I can't get a read on that guy. I don't think he's good, and then sometimes he just balls out. But I really just don't think he's that good of a quarterback.
This has to be I keep making little side tangents about quarterbacks, but like this has to be the make it or break year for Daniel Jones. Like if he does not even getting this team to 500 or so, and it shows in the NFC East is a hard fucking task, I guess.
And without Dak Prescott,
500. Well, yeah, it's fair.
Yeah,
we all know how I feel about Dak Prescott, though.
To me, there's no reason why the Cowboys can't win the division. Like, there's absolutely no. That team is stacked.
It's a whole nother debate for a whole nother time.
Anyway,
Kadarius
Toney, that guy. I don't really like his fit here. Not that I think it's just kind of a crowded wide receiver core. I mean, Sterling Shepard's he's no bum. They just got Kenny Galladay, and I loved Kenny Galladay last year. And they got Slayton now. I can't remember his first name. I just call him Slayton. Darius Slayton, right?
I believe so.
It's something like that. Don't matter. His last name's Slayton. That's a cool-ass last name. So he comes in almost as the fourth wide receiver. So I really just don't like his fantasy value here at all. Plus, Saquon Barkley's coming back. Say what you want about Saquon Barkley. He is a factor. I don't know about but as far as running ability, he will be a factor. And so I feel like his fantasy value potential here is horrible. I don't think it's any good here.
Toney's another guy. I mean, he was really productive in Florida playing with Kyle Trask.
Right.
Like he played well in college. I think the concern is he's another guy who's just kind of smaller. He's also like a speed demon. If I remember correctly, I could be wrong.
Right.
He's another guy who's going to take the top off of a defense, and that offense isn't necessarily designed to have guys just running go routes all game long. It also kind of depends on the evolution of Daniel Jones and see if he can even get on the ball, but it's not a good fit for Toney in New York. I don't necessarily think any of the Giants wide receivers have incredible fantasy value this year.
No, it's just because it's crowded. I mean, you're going to have...
It's crowded and your quarterback's Daniel Jones. I
get that. But, and for me, fantasy perspective, and I think I'm going to get a little bit more into this in the upcoming weeks, going into more quarterbacks that are not. But for me, Daniel Jones' stock goes higher because he has such a crowded wide receiver room. And that's just usually how I look at quarterbacks. I'm like, okay, and there's something we'll get into later about that because we disagreed on this. But for me, it's like, hey, he's got a pretty crowded wide receiver room. Someone will be open. So that potential wise, that's good for me if I'm going to be a Daniel Jones, if I draft Daniel Jones, or I'm a Daniel Jones lover. So that's going to be good. But I agree, you have to perform. Evan Ingram, I know Giants fans hate Evan Ingram, and I don't necessarily understand. I do, but I don't. I can understand being sick of a player, but he's still a good tight end to me. So
what can you in a brief 30-second answer, and we'll keep this moving because I keep getting off track and I'm so sorry. Can you explain to me the hate on Saquon Barkley? I see so many people at Vendetta, outside of Vendetta, just slamming Saquon Barkley, saying he's going to be a bust and he's not going to be any good. I don't get it. I guess he's arguably a top 5 running back when he was healthy. I just don't really get the hate right now.
Top 5 is hefty. I would say he's up there. I don't know about top 5. I think I think a lot of it's draft value. He was drafted second overall. Was that it? Something like that. He was drafted super high, top
really
5
high.
pick. Top 5 pick. I understand that. You know, you usually don't draft, running backs that high. I think that a lot of it was that Trey's whole thing is that Nick Chubb is better than Saquon Barkley. And that's his whole thing. And he, Trey, he has to prove everyone wrong. It's him against the world. So I feel like that's a big part of it. I don't think he's a bad running back. I really don't. I think the Giants line hasn't been that great. It's just now coming into, okay, it's starting to become a decent line to where, this team can really excel. I don't really get it. I can understand that, you might think he's overrated based on draft value. You might think other guys are better. That's fine. But Saquon Barkley's still a good running back to me.
I don't know.
So,
I feel like he's going to come back this year and he's going to be a stud.
Yeah.
Or I could be wrong, though. I have no idea.
You're taking him first overall, Garrett? That's what I'm hearing?
No.
First overall. Got him. Got to write that down. Write that down. First overall.
Saquon going 1. Got it.
RB1 right there. RB1. Let's get to the running quarterback. We're going to get to the running quarterback. Let's talk about the wide receiver they drafted, though. Baltimore drafted Rashard Bateman. How are you feeling about that? Being a Steelers fan. Hold on. Being a Steelers fan.
Dude, I don't know, man. That guy went to arguably the worst situation he could have. Like if you're Rashad Bateman, you're sitting there. I think I don't remember where it was. If he was at the draft or if he was at home or something, you're sitting there, you're just like hanging out with family or whatever, and you're just like, oh shit, Baltimore's up. Like I can't have my phone ring right now. Like let's just like turn it off. Let's put it on like silent. I can't take this call. And then you see a Baltimore area code pull up on your phone, and you're like, these motherfuckers are about to take me. That's like, it's so bad for him because Lamar Jackson is, I was about to say shit. He's not shit. He's playoff winner, 10-win seasons, whatever the fuck. He's not a proven passer.
Timeout. He's not a good, no, he's not. Guy's a good football player. I will never take it. He's athletic, great football player. Runs the ball, not a great passer. That's only thing about him. That's what I just said. I know, but you were saying
you teed me up.
No, I teed you up. We're bringing it back. I'm traveling. Like, no, we're not doing that. Ridiculous. Like, this is not going to happen because, first of all, proven winner. We are dismissing the entire Ravens team. Like, that Ravens team is good. They would win with Joe Flacco back at quarterback. Okay, they would win with anybody at quarterback. I feel like. I mean, they got a great running back. They got great. I mean, now they're just not getting wide receivers. The only thing was the wide receivers. But their defense was solid. That team was going to win regardless.
Second best defense in the division.
Okay. You can have that. Whatever. I don't care. I have no hand in this fight.
You don't care, but I'm just like.
I don't have no hand in this fight. I'm like, whatever. AFC North business, that's AFC North business. I don't care. Go ahead. Continue. Sorry, I had to tee you up on that. I didn't like that.
Yeah, you teed me up for no reason, I feel like.
Red card.
Oh, what? Red card? For what? Oh, I'm storming off the pitch.
Lamar Jackson compliments, automatic red card. He's done. He's out of here.
Never mind. I get it.
He's out of here.
He's just – that is not a guy who's going to have a high fantasy value this year at all. And he might not get it at his time in Baltimore. If I was Rashad Bateman, I would play it out for a year, become a playoff guy, maybe pop off for one game in the playoffs and realize that you're not going to get targets in Baltimore and demand trade. Get out of there. Get the fuck out of Baltimore. Who wants to be a wide receiver in Baltimore right now? Nobody. Nobody wants to be a wide receiver in Baltimore.
Sammy Watkins.
Sammy Watkins. And listen, as long as you get open, it's all that matters. As long as you get open, Lamar Jackson's going to hit you no matter what. That's what he said.
You know what? That pisses me off because that just insinuates that any quarterback can hit you as long as you're open, which is just not true. I know, but it's just not true. I mean, this is coming. I'm coming as a team, like as a fan of a team that drafted Jamarcus Russell. I mean, so like the guy could be open and the guy could miss. The guy could just miss him. And that's
listen, what's going to happen, though, is Sammy Watkins is going to have 13 catches, 144 yards, and 2 touchdowns in the first week. And we're going to be like, oh, my God, Lamar Jackson, he's back. He's worked on his passing game. And then Sammy Watkins is going to end up with like 31 catches all year.
Yeah. So
that's what Sammy Watkins does.
Yeah, naturally. He explodes one week and then he
explodes week 1 and he's done. He's like, all right, I got my clout, we're good.
You gotta really just like try to fucking pick a week that he's gonna explode. And it's like a 1 out of 5 chance he's gonna do it. Like once every 5 weeks, I feel like he's gonna explode. If he doesn't do that, he's gone. He's not gonna do anything. As far, I think trying to be positive here. I think Bateman could be a good, red zone kind of guy. He's kind of a little bit bigger. I think he's about 6'3", bigger body. I think he could be maybe a touchdown guy. However, I'm with you. If you have Lamar Jackson as your quarterback, it's just not good for wide receivers. Lamar Jackson by himself, as a fantasy quarterback, he's decent just because he has that running ability. He has he'll be top 5, top 10 regardless.
You're definitely not going to get passing yards, passing touchdowns out of him.
No, but you'll get running yards and rushing touchdowns, and running yards are every 10 yards I think is like a point, and every passing yard is like 25 for a point. So holy shit! How can I hear your bass through my headphones outside? Like, bro, that is like too much. That's too much bass. I hate
Bro,
that.
I dead. I thought someone was like breaking in or something. I was like, oh shit! I was about to square up on somebody.
Air pollution. That's how I know I'm getting old, dude. Like some air pollution in this bitch. Like
my man's is getting all sorts of bothered.
Dude, you're about to be a father. It's just all the dad G's coming. Oh, what in the hell is going on?
All the gray hairs up in your hairline.
My gray hairs it's bad, dude. It's getting there. Like I'm just like, bro, at 30, all this is gonna be great. Don't matter. It don't matter.
Rocking that solid purple look. It's gonna look good on you, dude. Look real good. You're gonna be the spicy dad at the barbecue.
The spicy one, yes, sir. Let's go to the Jets here. They picked Elijah Moore. How do you feel about Elijah Moore?
I think he fell into a good fit just because I'm behind the quarterback. I don't know. I think he gets a lot of slack. Like I don't know. You guys did the quarterback show last week, and Zach Wilson wasn't really as. Did you guys do quarterbacks first week? I'm sorry.
Yep.
I like Zach Wilson a lot. I think that the Jets have improved their offensive line the past 2 years. The wide receiving core is not all. We went into the whole debate.
Oh, you were commenting about this because you were like the Jets offensive line.
Exactly.
Corey Davis.
I was talking about wide receivers. I was talking about
Corey Davis.
I was talking about Corey Davis, dude, because he's not a bad wide receiver. I'm not saying
he's
top 10, but I'm not saying because you guys were no. I said he's not top 10.
Oh, I was like,
no. I said he's not top 10. I'm not saying he's top 10. What I'm saying is he's vastly upgrading that current wide receiver core, and you put in a guy like Elijah Moore, 86 catches at Ole Miss last year, popped off for like 1,200 yards almost. Like he's gonna add some. He's gonna be a wide receiver too, right off the bat, a good slot guy as well for a younger quarterback. He could just find the slot all the time. He's got value.
I don't know.
I like Elijah.
Don't get me wrong. I don't think Zach Wilson's a bad quarterback. I think he might be. In a this crowded quarterback class, I think he was like 4th. I think he's better than Mac Jones. He's fighting for 3rd for me between Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields. Like they're top 2 to me. Trey Lance and Zach Wilson, I think they fight for 3 and 4. I don't trust that line. I really don't. And it kind of pisses me off. I know that it has improved, but it pisses me off that they're doing this after Sam Darnold left. Sam Darnold deserves better.
Yeah, that's fair. You and I are both really high on Sam Darnold.
I'm gonna talk about Sam Darnold here a little bit later. But I like Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold's he's a great quarterback.
He's gonna turn Carolina into a winner.
They're gonna pop off. They might not win the division.
You heard it here first on Ballz Deep. He's gonna turn Carolina around.
Imagine trying to be serious while saying Ballz Deep. Listen, you're an argument. Listen, I'm on the Ballz Deep fantasy.
And then you have that reaction. You just like immediately just break out into laughter.
It's like I want to. Rip. Elijah Moore, I'm like I said, I'm not big on Corey Davis. They got Jamison Crowder, who really didn't do a lot last year. Denzel Mims is a joke. I don't
like that take, sir.
He's a joke.
Denzel Mims played well in the second half of the season.
How well?
You know what your issue is? You hate the Jets. That's what it is.
I don't hate the Jets. I have no problem with the Jets.
You hate the Jets, but you love Sam Darnold, and you know your hate for the Jets stems from their mistrust or their misguidance of Sam Darnold. That's what it is. It's like anytime they do anything somewhat productive or somewhat decent, you're just like, nah, fuck the Jets. Fuck the Jets.
You have a point, but I don't think the Jets are a good team. I don't think the Jets are a good team. I'm
not saying they're
good. Well, what are they going to be? What are they going to be? What's the record?
Like record-wise?
Record-wise.
They're under 500.
So 7-10. That's the ceiling.
I'm not gonna unleash a spicy take on you here.
They ain't gonna be better than Raiders. Was that the take?
No. That was.
I was about to say. I was like.
No, did you listen? Not to plug my own shit here really quick. Did you read the symbol article I did on the Raiders?
Yeah, I did.
I said at the end that this team could surprise some folks because I actually believe that. So no, I was not going to say that. My spicy take was going to be I think they finished third in the division, but
over. Who's the last one I'm forgetting? Patriots. I don't hate that. I don't think the Patriots are that good. So, I think there's. Oh no, that. Never mind. I don't want to spoil anything. Regardless, sorry. But Elijah Moore. So what do you think he walks into as on the depth chart? Where do you think his fantasy value is?
I think he's got good upside as a fantasy wide receiver. I think that I could see him in this offense with 50 plus catches.
That's not bad. As a rookie wide receiver, that's not bad.
For a rookie wide receiver, drafted where he is, going to the offense with a rookie quarterback, 50 catches shouldn't be outside of his expectation. Handful of touchdowns. I don't know. I feel like Elijah Moore is definitely a solid flex option to have on your bench, especially later on in the year where he gets more comfortable in the offense.
I think he's a lot better dynasty wise. I think Jamison Crowder is going to underperform this year, and they'll do something with him. I don't think he's going to stay on the Jets roster. Once again, I don't like Denzel Mims. So I think Corey Davis and Elijah Moore might be the 1-2 that they're looking for. So I think this year is kind of a feel him out year. Then next year I think he'll really pop off. Now let's go to this is a guy that Trey really liked coming out of the draft. Rondell Moore coming out of Purdue, and he's got a crowded wide receiver room. He's in Arizona. He's got DeAndre Hopkins. Good God, I had an aneurysm. Christian Kirk, AJ Green, washed, and Michael Crabtree also washed. However, it's still kind of crowded for him. I like Rondell Moore, honestly, as a slot option. I think he could be a really good – he might be the slot guy. I mean, he's the slot guy. I think he gets a lot of touch. I think, he might be a little bit of a sleeper to me.
I don't know if you know this offhand or not either, but does Arizona have Andy Isabella as well?
I could look. Keep talking.
Look that up because I feel like that's just another name into a slot position for that offense. I get what you're saying. So Andy Isabella is also a burner. That dude is fast. Like there's track guys on this offense. They're building a track team offense here, basically, with a stud wide receiver you could just hug it up to, and DeAndre Hopkins would come down with it basically. I do think though that he can carve a niche into this offense. Like he's too talented to just sit by the wayside and not get his targets. I think that he could come in and be the third wide receiver on the team behind like DeAndre Hopkins, Christian Kirk. I think, I agree with you that AJ Green is maybe a little washed. Michael Crabtree, I didn't even know he was in the league still.
Neither did I, actually. I was doing research, and I found out I was like, oh, he's on the Cardinals. Good for him.
At this point, he might be ring chasing, I feel like, because Arizona's got a decent team. I mean, they're building a good defense in Arizona.
That NFC NFC West is just that division's tough.
That could be the toughest division of football almost.
No, it is. By far, I feel like it is. Like I literally don't know who's going to win that division.
I do think, going back to Rondale Moore, I think that he has, again, flex value. I don't think he's a wide receiver that you draft to be playing every single week. But he's definitely, and I also feel like I feel like Trey would definitely know this because he was, like you said, a big Rondale Moore guy. I wonder if he had any like return experience when he was in college. He's got the size and the speed to like get you touches on like returns as well. So like from a fantasy perspective, playing Arizona's defense special teams might be a little added caveat because they're gonna have a good defense this year.
Yeah, I really think this Arizona team, like in any other division, he does have a little bit of return experience. However, his last year in Purdue, he was not a return guy.
His last year, Purdue definitely hurt his draft stock because as a freshman, he had over 100 catches for a dozen touchdowns, and then, I mean, could you imagine if he would have done this last year?
Oh yeah,
if he would have done this last season, oh my god. We could have seen like 7 or 8 wide receivers drafted in the first round.
Yeah, I really feel I think he might be returning. I don't know who the returner is in Arizona, so Rondale Moore might take over those duties, which actually increases his draft stock. I feel like because you do get points for that, and so maybe he gets a return one game. It's usually kick returns usually get one. I feel like kick or punt returns usually get one at least per season.
You get one solid crack at it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's usually about the ceiling for kick and punt returns. So I'm a little bit bigger on Rondale Moore than some of the other guys that we named that are kind of in a crowded wide receiver. I have to feel him. I'm not saying I would draft him, but I think he's a good waiver wire guy to look for. Like first couple weeks, see how he is. If he's not drafted in your league, and I'm like, okay, Rondale Moore, that might be the guy. You know what I mean? Dynasty, invest. I like
100% invest.
Yeah. I actually don't know too much about this guy. I do want to talk about his fit, though. Dwayne Eskridge. He is in Seattle with, of course, DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. However, I don't think any other wide receiver is worth naming in Seattle. So like I said, I don't know too much about this guy. However, do you feel like there are going to be there's some at least potential for him? Just not knowing the guy, be like, hey, he's a wide receiver that Seattle drafted.
I know he played at Eastern Washington. I think I could tell you that.
That's more than me. That's more than I know. So
I think that I don't know. Seattle's such a weird place to be a wide receiver.
Man.
That team. What do you do with the Seahawks team? As a side note, like what the fuck do you do with that team? Like, do you trade Russ and just fucking blow it up? Because this is not a championship winning team at any rate. But side note,
it's Pete Carroll. I think it's Pete Carroll's fault. Absolutely.
I don't think he has a ton of upside as a fantasy wide receiver, especially this year, unless one of those two get hurt. Obviously, we're not hoping for an injury or anything like that. But like, I feel like if one of those situations were to happen where DK pulls a hamstring, is out a couple weeks, high ankle sprain for Tyler Lockett or whatever, I'm just missing a little bit of time, he could be an interesting waiver wire pickup. But at the same time, I don't think is somebody who you're going to have on your roster from like week 1 through the end of the year. He's definitely a guy you want to pick up as like, if he's going to be like playing in the starting rotation and then drop him if you're filling him for like a bye week or something like that. I just don't see a ton of fantasy potential with him.
I actually don't. Could you name the third wide receiver last year for Seattle off the top of your head? Because I can't. Exactly my point, right? I mean, like you think, okay, he's the third wide receiver on Seattle, and then you're like, oh shit, that's Seattle, and Seattle would rather run the ball down your throat for whatever reason when you have Russell Wilson as your quarterback. I mean, I think during the season, people were like, let Russ cook. And I agree. Let him. That's top 5 quarterback. He was in the
MVP conversation half the year.
If they let him do what he's got to do, ain't no thing. Maybe I would invest in a third wide receiver on Seattle. But right now, no.
If Seattle ever gave Russell Wilson in his entire career, aside from their obviously one Super Bowl win, if they ever gave him right now going forward a top half of the league, I'm talking like top 15 offensive line or so, he's winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
he is. I don't care who's playing on defense. I don't care who's lining up in the backfield, who's playing wide receiver. If you give him 2 solid offensive linemen, he's winning a Super Bowl. I can't
just
even
on one side, just so he knows which side to go to.
I can't even tell you one offensive lineman in Seattle. I can't tell you one. I mean, like, obviously, like, I'm not going to say you're going to flaunt, like, oh, I know all the offensive linemen. No, that's obviously not the case. But, like, every team I feel like has got one semi-recognizable name on the offensive line. I can't tell you for the life of me who plays in Seattle on the offensive line. Couldn't do it.
Neither could I. I mean, right now Dakota's punching the air right now because we can't name, some linemen. But I'm just that's your favorite, by the way. Dakota's your favorite.
He owes me $100.
He owes me $100. So
he owes you, me, Trey $100. And apparently, him and Trey both seem to think that I wasn't in on that bet when I very clearly was. Like anybody in their right mind would have taken.
I think you were almost here, but you weren't here. I don't think you were
was here. I remember.
Okay. I don't remember you being on that bet.
I came back last week of December 2020.
Yeah, I'll believe you. I don't know. I couldn't fucking tell
you. That's when it was.
Okay. Oh yeah, because right after football season. Yeah, I was right after football season. I was drinking my struggles away because the Raiders didn't make the playoffs. So
shocker.
Thank you. Needed that in my life,
dude. I'm here for you.
Anyway, Dwayne Eskridge, he's off on my list. I'm actually crossing him out just because I feel like it adds dramatic effect. So I crossed him out. So I'm out on him. This one made no sense to me. And granted the Rams don't have a lot of holes, but wide receiver is one of their strong points, and you draft a wide receiver, and this wide receiver literally is built like me. You got Tutu Atwell, and he's 5'9", which 1 inch taller than I am. I'm not very tall, and 165. I mean, he's probably got more muscle than me. I weigh a little bit more than him, but he's got more muscle than I do. But you got Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, Deshaun Jackson, Van Jefferson. Van Jefferson, I like him. Hasn't really, he was coming off that foot injury. He hasn't really got in there yet. Those are 4 guys. Like, why draft Tutu Atwell and even draft him that high, and then draft a guy that's built like me for the NFL?
If I remember correctly, wasn't that their first pick of the draft?
And
they drafted a wide receiver.
Was actually it was close. I like I said, they don't have a lot of holes, but why? Just
that dude,
why?
Atwell shouldn't. I almost feel
it was second round. That was their first pick. Second round. That was their first pick.
They sent their first round pick. That was part of the Jalen Ramsey trade.
I think so. That was
sounds about right.
That was the E10. Travis Guy and
Etienne.
Yeah, Etienne. Yeah,
I know. Yeah, I know you're not good with last names. No tongues. So Atwell, I feel like he's just not a guy that I feel like should have been on anybody's draft board that high, especially in the second round. The only thing I could think, if I'm sitting there and I'm Sean McVay and I'm just like, all right, first pick of the draft, what are we thinking here? We got some defensive players. Maybe we look at some offensive linemen to help protect our new incoming quarterback, Matt Stafford. Wide receiver. That's what it is. I mean, shit, okay, Sean, who do you want? There's that guy in Louisville. He's this big. I want that guy.
Yeah,
that's the guy. He's this.
That's the guy right there. Guy. And there was still, I'm going to go into some more of these names later, but there was still a lot of talent on the board. It was.
Yeah, that's not the guy that you picked.
If you first, you shouldn't have taken a wide receiver. There was no reason. Second reason is there's a lot of better wide receivers on the board. So I don't really know what we're doing. Completely kind of unrelated note. Matt Stafford. I dig Matt Stafford this year. Good God, he got out of Detroit.
That dude's got some.
Some people don't get out of Detroit. Barry Sanders, Calvin Johnson couldn't get out of Detroit. Matt Stafford, he's the one. Third time's the charm. He made it. He made it out there. You know what?
This dude will never have as big of a fantasy year than he will this year. This is his best shot to win a ring. Like I'm not saying like I'm telling you guys to go to your bookie or whatever and put money on the Rams to win the NFC or the Super Bowl or anything, but like I don't know, bub. Like he could take this team places because Matt Stafford is talented.
And that defense is still great. It's still a very good defense.
Listen, any defense with Aaron Donald on it has to be fantastic.
I mean, that's like he plugged up the entire middle. The guy plays like 4 fucking positions. He doesn't even play safety. He'll play safety in the box.
Aaron Donald is so talented. I can't even believe it.
Yeah, so he's crazy. So I mean, I think the biggest thing here is they got off Jared Goff, and so that guy was a fucking moron. So and then now Sean McVay has a little play toy with his with the quarterback with a crowded wide receiver. And then they got Cam Akers. I really like Cam Akers too as a running back. So I feel like this team is going places. However, crowded NFC West. I think a hot take, and this is off the top of my head, every team in the NFC West makes a playoffs this year. Every team.
Yikes.
I think every team in the NFC West makes the playoffs this year.
I don't know about that one, Chief.
But no, Seattle might be the only one. I don't like.
Seattle would be the team not making the playoffs?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Interesting.
Oh, you got Arizona, Rams.
So you have that much faith in Kyler Murray.
I think they could do it.
All right, dude. Like I'm not.
I think this team has vastly improved.
That is a spicy take for sure.
Spicy take. I don't like Seattle though this year. I don't know. I could be wrong. Let's see how well doubting Russell Wilson gets me. So, Tutu Atwell once again for dramatic effect. I am crossing off my notebook because why the fuck would you even do that? So, next we were talking about Sam Darnold a little bit earlier. Sam Darnold now in Carolina with the Panthers. Also in Carolina now is Terrence Marshall. He's a bigger guy, 6'3". Can't remember what college he was at. Really don't care. I think he walks in. I think he's the third wide receiver on this list. They still have DJ Moore, which I don't know why, but everyone was really high on DJ Moore last year. Like, I really didn't get it.
I mean, DJ Moore is a really good wide receiver.
He is a good wide receiver. And, he did okay, but, like, people were having him, like, top 5 fantasy wide receiver, and I did not see it. I just didn't see it. Like, he was good, but I feel like people were drafting him way too high. He was overhyped to me last year.
I like DJ Moore a lot. I think
he's a good wide receiver.
If anybody's going to benefit from the acquisition of Sam Darnold, is going to be DJ Moore and Terrace Marshall, who was overshadowed at LSU by Jamar Chase and didn't play as well last year because he wasn't playing with Joe Burrow. Terrace Marshall had was he the receiver who had like 7 touchdowns in the title game or something or in a playoff game?
Justin Jefferson.
That's
the only reason why, because I was watching the championship game, and I'm not big into college. Like I learn these names as I go. Like when they get to I'm like, okay, they're in the NFL. Now I can learn their name. No, like I was watching the championship, and that Justin Jefferson had 7 touchdowns. I'm like, okay, Justin Jefferson, kind of good. He's all right. It's.
I like Marshall a lot. I built out my list of like top 5 fantasy wide receivers because you guys typically do like, hey, give me your top 5 or whatever. Mm-hmm. He's on my top 5 list for my fantasy wide receivers this year. I like him a lot. I think that he went to a really good system. He's reuniting with Joe Brady as like with his offensive coordinator. Good young head coach. Good young offensive line. Obviously, they have CMC building their defense right now as well. I think Terrace Marshall could be another guy who could exceed expectations from where you draft him in fantasy. I think that he for me is a good flex guy, or maybe even later in the year, almost like a fringe wide receiver too, almost.
Yeah. Okay. I dig that. I really do. There's not too many names I really want to talk about. I think there's three. I don't know. I am going to skip Dynasty Brown. He's on Washington. He's on the Washington football team. Still funny. I don't think a lot comes out of him this year. He's Scary Terry, Curtis Samuel, Adam Humphries is still there. So I feel like if it wasn't so crowded, maybe we talk about it a little bit more. I do like, and this was actually a who the fuck was this guy on week 1 or the first week, week 1, like it's an NFL season. Josh Palmer, which he plays in LA with the Chargers with Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, and Guyton. I can't remember his first name. I feel like he might have a little bit of fantasy value there. I'm not really big on it. I think more dynasty wise, yeah. But Josh, I mean, do you have anything about Josh Palmer? I mean, he might do something. I don't think he will though.
It's so funny to me because I could literally show you my screen right now where I have my notes pulled up. You skipped over Dynasty Brown, and he's one of my sleepers out of this wide receiver class.
Well, then go on then.
My second sleeper is literally Josh Palmer.
Okay, well there you go. You can talk about those two. Go ahead.
The first 2 wide receivers you named that were just kind of flying by, I have like notes on, and I'm kind of high on. I don't know. Right. Dynasty Brown fits the this sounds so dumb. The football team scheme very well. First off, can we give them a fucking team name? Like Dan Snyder, I don't know what the fuck he's doing up there, but he just get the team out of Washington first off. Move them to London. Seems perfect. They're trying to move a team there anyway. Move either Jacksonville or Washington. One of the two. Move one of the coast teams. Shorter flight. Simple. Secondly, get them a team name. Excellent. Thirdly, Brown fits the offense very well because he is a guy who can take the top off of an offense. And that seems like something that is missing out of this offense because Terry McLaurin, hell of a wide receiver. Very good. Very good route runner, very good hands. Curtis Samuel, kind of the same thing. He's got some speed, but he's more of like, great footwork, hitting cuts, this and that. Dynasty Brown, I think he slides perfectly into the slot, and he's an underneath guy where you dunk it off to him quick and just let him work in the open field, or you let him take the top off of the defense, which will help the other wide receivers around him immensely. And then when you see the targets going to them, it frees up the safeties. Big play over the top, Dynasty Brown. I'm not saying he's going to be a massive fantasy target this year, but I think that he's a good guy to keep an eye on the waiver wire way down in the season to cover like buys or injuries or something like that. But I think that he has some value this year.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I said, like I have to see it. Like I'm not drafting him. I'm looking at the waiver wire. I'm watching the first couple weeks, see how well he does, and then maybe I'm like, okay. I like Scary Terry, man. I didn't really think he was gonna, but like no wide receivers there.
The way he did.
No wide receivers there, and he was still a stud. Like the fact that defenses, I would throw half of my defense at him, and he was still getting catches and slow. And then Curtis Samuel, he's fallen off a little bit. He's still a decent wide receiver. Adam Humphries, I'm not really, but
who's playing quarterback this year in Washington?
Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Is he?
Yep.
Damn. Journeyman Ryan Fitzpatrick. They're not going to start
Fitzpatrick.
What's the dude's name? Almost beat Tom Brady in the playoffs.
Taylor Heineke.
They should have started Taylor Heineke, I feel like.
The one. I mean, maybe.
I mean, listen. All I'm saying is, if you're Taylor Heineke, or if you're the Washington football team, Taylor Heineke comes in and beats Tom Brady in the playoffs, instant contract. Like,
he didn't beat him though.
But he got damn close though. And that's still good enough for me with a quarterback room that has Ryan Fitzpatrick in it. I'm starting in week 1. I feel like. I digress.
Taylor Heineke, you got a fan. Go ahead and go into Josh Palmer. Like I said, who the fuck was this guy? He was first week. I think Jeremy picked him. So Josh Palmer, He's got Keenan Allen's, Mike Williams, and Guyton. I didn't write the Guyton's first name because I can't remember it. So,
Josh Palmer's just going into a good situation. I feel like he's got new offensive-minded head coach. He's going into the second year of Justin Herbert. He's also playing along arguably the most underrated wide receiver in the league in Keenan Allen. Like that dude gets no recognition year in year out. I feel like from the national media, but that dude is a stud. Josh Palmer's got a nice build too. I think he's like 6'1", just over 200 pounds, good footwork. I mean, he played at Tennessee, so he didn't have, the most, recognition in the world because Tennessee's fallen off the face of the earth over the last.
Yeah. He is a big body,
years. Though. He played well in college, though. Like, he's a nice receiver, and he's got good footwork. I feel like he's a guy throughout the course of the season can learn from the wide receivers in LA, learn from Keenan Allen, maybe have some fantasy upside later in the year. But early on in the year, I don't see him seeing the field a ton. He's definitely a guy to keep an eye on towards the end of the year, maybe for like a playoff push.
Once again, I will be high on Austin Eckler. Kind of sad that he got injured last year. I'm telling you, my running back room for fantasy last year, and you know this, it was strong. Oh man, I was going places. And then Christian McCaffrey.
All you needed was Christian McCaffrey to not get injured, and you would have damn near had a perfect season. I feel like
I would have killed everyone. I was so because I did so much research, and I was like, bro, I'm gonna kill it. And then
I know you did.
And I was gonna duck and juice it. Like I was like, man, I was so bad.
Two things about that. One, who was it? Christopher who won fantasy last year?
Christopher. But yeah, the thing, and Christopher's my brother, and Mark, who I'm about to mention, is my brother's best friend, or one of his best friends. I don't know. I can't keep up. But they were, you know what pissed me off about that? They were in the championship, and they were gonna like drop all their players and play the worst people they could find, like that. And they
thought it was a joke.
I was pissed. I was like, if you do that, I will punch you. Because I was still a little heartbroken that I didn't win, and I was mad. I was mad. Yeah, Christopher won, and I didn't even think his team was good last year, which pissed me off. So, I'm winning this year. I want to win this year so bad.
I feel like that's the goal every year, there, bub.
Oh well, anyway, I feel like we have to talk about A-Rod in Green Bay. And by A-Rod, I mean Amari Rodgers.
I couldn't tell you anything about him. I have no idea whatsoever.
The only thing about Amari Rodgers, I had something pulled up here. He's kind of shorter. However, when you're, of course, there's Devontae Adams, and let's say Aaron Rodgers does come back. I don't think he will. But you have to be Alan Lazard and Marquez Valdez-Scantling or whatever, MVS. That's all you have. You have to beat out one of the you have to beat out those two. So I think even unknown kind of wide receiver. He was drafted in the third round. He came from Clemson. I feel like that's a great college. I feel like all you have to be is Alan Lazard and MVS, and you could be a solid number 2 in Green Bay if Aaron Rodgers plays, which I don't think he will. If he doesn't, just forget everything I said about Amari Rodgers, because the only one that's relevant in Green Bay will be Devontae Adams. I promise.
Forever. Or at least through next year when he signs somewhere else next year.
Aaron Rodgers, Jeopardy host. I feel like I think it's gonna happen. I don't know. I feel like something's gotta happen here. So Amari Rodgers, maybe the new A-Rod in Green Bay. What do you know anything about Nico Collins from Houston?
I think he's a sneaky candidate to have a really good season this year. I do too. I agree with you. If they can figure out the quarterback situation and make it work with Deshaun Watson, Nico Collins is 6'4". I think he ran like a 4.40 at his pro day. He didn't have a ton of quarterback talent in Michigan, so he didn't really have the best opportunity to showcase his skill set. But if you're that big, with that big of a wingspan, and you can run that fast, you got to be able to do something, right? And if you got one of the best quarterbacks on planet Earth throwing you the football, you're bound to make a little bit of noise. And this offense, that's fair. We don't know what the quarterback situation is going to go into week 1, but I mean, who else is playing in Houston right now at receiver?
You got Brandon Cooks, who really didn't do Kiki Kuti and Randall Cobb. So it's not
nobody basically.
It's not a spectacular group. No,
there's nobody there. Nico Collins has the potential, like going in the next season, potentially to be a wide receiver 1. I feel like, especially in Houston. I'm not saying like on any team he has potential to be a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 1. I'm not saying that, but like in Houston, he's in a sneaky good fit to be a pretty decent pass catcher this year, like a high target, especially in the red zone, because of the size. I'm almost positive he's 6'4".
He's 6'4", 215, and he can run that fast. I'm like, yeah,
he's fast, bro.
So I'm actually real big on Nico Collins. I believe, he was who the fuck was that guy last week? I mean, he was drafted round 3. So, however, I think he'll be another really good wide receiver. I mean, like with Houston having so much uncertainty right now, it's kind of hard to buy in. However, Nico Collins is a great flyer that I would invest in. If you're filling out your draft chart, one of the last picks, I'll pick Nico Collins. I have no problem doing that. You know what I mean? Auction league, that's a less than $5 flyer right there that you can take and might end up working really good for you.
Shit, a guy like that could fuck around and end up winning a fantasy league for you. Honestly, I really do believe that.
I'm big on Nico Collins this year. Let's talk about one more, and after that, we'll do top 5, and then we'll do our who the fuck is that guy and get the hell out of here. And I have to bring him up because me and you disagreed a little bit. I said Jared Goff has no one to throw to in Detroit. And a lot of it is I wanted to shit on Jared Goff more. I don't like Jared Goff, but I'm not really thrilled about Jared Goff's potential here. However, looking at receiving, I mean, you mentioned TJ Hawkinson, which I mean, it's he's really not that bad of a fantasy tight end as much as my post said. I didn't really care.
The only reason you did
shit.
That was
I just wanted to talk shit.
That's literally what I expected. I also, first off, I didn't expect you to fucking pop off the way you did, but I guess I should have expected it knowing you.
I'm that petty.
I'm so bad.
People don't realize I am that petty. I am like one of the petties. Like I'm like, oh, he said this. Okay, let me just do this. So, in Detroit though, they do have a rookie wide receiver, which I believe Scott wrote an article about him. It was Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Nailed it.
I hope I said that right.
You killed it.
I hope I said it right. So, however, the only competition, you mentioned TJ Hawkinson, who is a tight end. I don't really care. But Brashard Perriman is his competition. So I think this is another sleeper. St. Brown going into a Detroit, which has practically no wide receiver. And I mean, so I'm really big. I feel like Detroit's going to suck so bad that they're going to have to throw. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a big believer in Jared Goff. However, if you're throwing 600 times, maybe, you might hit some people here and there. So I'm actually big on St. Brown for Detroit. How do you feel?
I think his biggest fantasy value this year is being a red zone threat because at his last season at USC, he had 40 catches. He had 7 touchdowns though. So his catches to touchdown pretty good when you look at the other guys who have a high catch but low touchdowns.
Sorry, I freaked out because I thought we were like it was starting to go. I was like, no, don't do it. We're almost done. But we're good. We're good. Go ahead. Sorry, keep going.
We're good? Okay.
We're good.
Deal. Okay. We're good. We're good. Everything's good. Okay. Don't know the last thing you said. Just say it again real quick. At USC, 41 catches, 7 touchdowns. Good ratio. Red zone target. Makes it easy for Jared Goff to find a little bit of fantasy points. Makes him an intriguing target for a red zone perspective, but he's going to go in and be a day one starter basically because, like you said, they don't have any wide receiver talent in Detroit.
Mm-hmm. Sorry. Didn't know we were being technical. I'm actually
TJ for no reason.
Nico Collins and St. Brown are both late round. Maybe St. Brown a little bit earlier. I don't know. Both guys I'm actually kind of big on. So I feel like those two could really, they could really help you out in your fantasy league, at least later on, as far as rookie wide receiver goes. You want to get into your top 5 here, Garrett?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right. Who do you got? Let's go 5. Yeah, go down the list.
So from 5 to 1?
5 to 1.
5, I have Elijah Moore.
Okay.
4, I have Terrace Marshall.
Okay.
3, Devontae Smith. 2, Jalen Waddle. 1, Jamar Chase.
Okay. Actually, my list is kind of similar to yours. I got 5 for Terrace Marshall. Just because there's a couple guys that on here that I just kind of don't like their fit. Rashard Bateman he's like right there for me. I don't think he's 5 though. Elijah Moore is 4 for me. Devontae Smith, just because there's no other wide receiver worth mentioning in Philly. Sorry, Chad. Travis Fulgham, Greg Ward, and Jalen Reagor just don't get it done. Like they don't. I'm sorry. Especially with a guy like Jalen Hurts. You're looking for a wide receiver. Devontae Smith, he will be. I feel like he will be that guy for Philly. Switch 1 and 2 for me though. I am actually big on Jamar Chase, or I'm actually bigger on Jalen Waddle than Jamar Chase this year, just because of the wide receiver, or not the wide receiver, but just the offensive line. I'm not that I'm expecting. Let me rephrase. Not that I am hoping Joe Burrow gets injured, but I feel like Joe Burrow will have a couple weeks where he gets hit the wrong way and might be, out a couple weeks. I feel like whoever the Bengals backup quarterback is, I don't know and I don't care.
Couldn't even tell you.
I think Jalen Waddle comes into a system with, a guy that he has history with Tua, even though he prefers Mac Jones. And Jalen Waddle can really come in, be day one, and really just, help out this offense. Devontae Parker kind of he didn't impress. Preston Williams just in the mix, and then Fuller. Jalen Waddle, I feel like, will get plenty of touches here. You kind of mentioned it earlier, but your sleepers, you have sleepers, Josh Palmer, Diami Brown, any other guys other than Nico Collins, St. Brown, no one else?
We're gonna jump right into my who the fuck is that guy?
Love it. I love it.
Because I've got a bit of a sleeper.
All right.
I feel almost bad picking a wide receiver from Kansas City because this is such a high-powered offense. You can literally throw anybody out there and you're gonna get targets and stuff like that. But Cornell Powell was drafted in the 5th round out of Clemson, and this dude is a speed demon. He had almost 1,000 yards his last season at Clemson. I know. Had almost 1,000 yards his last season at Clemson, 7 touchdowns. He's going into an exceptional system. Hands down, he's going into such a good system. He lost to Sammy Watkins. I expect Mecole Hardman to play better this year. Obviously, you have, your weapons in Kansas City, but I just feel like he's going to be able to find a niche, kind of like Mecole Hardman did his first year. Mecole Hardman, if I remember correctly, was not a lower round pick, but he wasn't a first round pick. And no. He made his way onto the field immediately in his rookie year because he's a speed guy, and the catching and the route running can come later. Same case with Cornell Powell. I think that he could find his way onto the field because of his speed, work on everything afterwards, and he's one of those guys, again, slants, over the top, and just let him work.
Nice. Yeah, I dig it. Really, anyone on Kansas City, if you're fast and you can somewhat catch a ball, you belong in Kansas City.
Then you're good.
Yeah, you kind of belong in Kansas City. So if you can run really fast and maybe catch half of it, yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Just run. I'm going to fuck up this name, and I know that. And, who the fuck is that guy? I know some people have heard of him. However, I feel like he is a name that needs to be brought on. It's Gunnar Olszewski. Gunnar Olszewski.
Olszewski.
Yes, you got it.
Spell Olszewski. Spell that for me.
OLS
OLZ. Wow, interesting.
EW.
EW. Okay.
EWSKI.
That is a hell of a Scrabble last name. Go off. All right, let's hear about him.
He's on New England. I really feel like Julian Edelman retiring. And however, Julian Edelman was gone for most of the last year. I know because I drafted him. Another one. So, however, I feel like I'm Gunner. We're gonna call him Gunner. Okay.
That's right.
Gunner.
Smart.
Gunner. He was a kick returner and punt returner for the New England Patriots. Small white guy. And we know how much the Patriots love their small white guys. I mean, you got Wes Welker, who was the thing before, Julian Edelman. I'm pretty sure there's another name I'm forgetting there. But I feel like they like their small white guys. Bill Belichick is going to work him into the system, and I feel like he's going to be the slot guy. I think not only does he might have, some fantasy value at the end of the season, coming to the playoff weeks. However, regardless, he's going to have fantasy value for punt and kick returns. He got one kick return last year for a touchdown or a punt return, whichever. I feel like he is a solid guy to look at least in the waiver wire. Especially, I'm not thrilled about the Patriots wide receiver room. People made a big deal about the Patriots, off season, and it wasn't really anything special. They got some pieces, but so Gunner,
that's what it is.
Yeah, they spent a lot of money, but I don't know about people they got. So Gunner is definitely a guy to watch for on my list. That is my who the fuck is that guy from New England. Watch out for him. I feel like he might make some noise.
I didn't know. I know we're gonna wrap this up really quick. I didn't know we were picking like NFL guys too, because like I have a guy.
So on the NFL fantasy football show.
Okay, but it's not rookie though. We're covering rookie wide receiver, so I assumed the who the fuck is that guy will be rookie player. That's why I picked a rookie for my who the fuck
I
is
tried
that
to find
guy.
a rookie, but I was just like, nah. What, do you have another one?
Here? Uh-oh.
Oh, there we go.
I got a guy. I got one guy.
2 for 1. I like it.
I'm super high on Tim Patrick, the wide receiver from the Denver Broncos. I think that he played very well last year. I mean, I know that Drew Lock didn't have the best season ever. Courtland Sutton going down meant some guys had to step up. Jerry Jeudy had the dropping issue last year. Tim Patrick, very consistent when
Yeah, I feel like in the second half of the year, yeah. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Damn it, Garrett. Figure it out. Let's go. I can't hear you. This is horrible. This is the horrible way to end the show. People are not satisfied. You just muted yourself. This guy. Oh my God, he just left. He left. I'm gonna give him like 2 seconds. But if he doesn't come back, I don't know what to do here. He's gone. All right, I'm closing by myself then. He just left me. So that's it for our show today. We are with Vendetta Sports Media. This was the Ballz Deep Fantasy Show. I am your host, Alex Chick. I did have Garrett with me, Garrett Burrows, a.k.a. Waluigi, a.k.a. Motorcycle Man. Oh, he's back!
What's up, boy?
I was closing. I was like, I'm not waiting for him.
That's my bad, dude. I have no idea what happened. I don't know what happened. I think maybe my AirPod died. And it sent my phone into a fucking frenzy, I think.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what you did, but I did not like it.
I'm sorry. Okay? Don't yell at me. Jesus.
Anyway, Tim Patrick, I'm gonna you interrupted my closing, so I'm gonna say Tim Patrick, Denver. I'm going back to my closing. Okay, so thank you. This was the Ballz Deep Fantasy Show. This was the third week. We are live every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We are with Vendetta Sports Media. I'm your host, Alex Chick. With me, who left me for a little bit, made me real sad. Garrett Burrows, Waluigi, a.k.a. Motorcycle Man, a.k.a. Jimmy Neutron's dad. the one in the booth right now, making it all work, is Courtney Plummer. She's amazing, and I'm glad she's doing this because, good God, could you imagine me, spicy dad, right, trying to fucking do. So yeah, I couldn't do this. So that's it. That's gonna be our show. Join us next week. You can actually comment and everything while we're doing the show, and we will interact. So it's a real fun time. But join us next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. We'll have a great show. I promise. At least I hope. I always think we have a good show. So I hope. I don't want to set expectations too high, and then people be like, "Oh, this shit fucking sucks." So it'll be all right. It'll be all right. So join us next week, and that's gonna be it. Later.